Hello friends, and welcome back to another video. Thanks so much if you're sort of regular here, and if you're new here, I'm Shauna and I live in Edinburgh and make videos in and around Scotland and charity shop hauls and that sort of thing. This week has been a little bit different because I haven't filmed anything because if you are aware, or if you live in the UK, Europe, we've had two pretty bad storms this past week actually. I think is it Storm Dudley and Storm Eunice. So in Edinburgh we haven't really been affected too badly. It's just been miserable weather, so really strong winds, cold, rain. So it's not been too bad, but I just wanted to say that if you do live in England or other parts of Europe which have been really badly affected, I hope that your home and your loved ones are okay, because I've seen pictures of people's houses and the O2's roof, and I just can't imagine what it must have been like and how scary it must have been to have winds that were that strong to do that kind of damage. So yeah, I hope that you're all doing okay. This past week I've just been pretty much in the house, just sort of avoiding the crazy weather, and when I have gone out it's just not been, I couldn't have filmed because the camera would have been shaking all about the place and it just wasn't great. So this past week I ended up digging through my archives and I found something that I have been wanting to share with you for about a year and a half, or maybe not quite a year and a half, maybe coming up to it. So this footage was filmed I think September, October 2020, so it was sort of during the pandemic, and so for the beginning of the pandemic I didn't really get any work, thank goodness, for the sort of government grants for small businesses. But when this email came in, first of all, it was a really exciting brand to partner with. It was work, which was also really exciting, but it did make me really nervous to go on a plane at that time. And I had the option of flying or going by train, and I just thought flying was better rather than being on a train for a really long time with a lot of different people. So yeah, so we got all ready. I think in the video you can briefly see that I'd forgotten I'd wore little like plastic gloves and everything, and yeah, it was a really interesting experience to fly at that time because it was quite quiet at the airports, and yeah, it was just funny to look back and remember what it was like at that point, and still kind of is a little bit, I suppose. So anyway, because that footage was filmed just before we went into another lockdown, I don't think that that's ever been used as far as I know. I think the campaign might have just kind of been put off. I got paid, thankfully, but yeah, I've never seen this footage anywhere, and I've been kind of waiting for at least a year to see if they do anything with it, and they haven't yet, so I hope that it's okay to post. I'm a little bit nervous, but hopefully it's fine. If you are watching this, the brand, and you don't want it up, I'm happy to take it down. And also, if you want to know what brand I'm talking about, I'm not going to say it in the video, but if you are curious, because I'm super nosy with these sort of things, you can always just drop me a message on Instagram and I'll happily tell you. I'm just not going to say it in this video because I don't know how they feel about it. So anyway, without further ado, this is a little travel vlog from 2020 when me and my mum head down to Buckinghamshire. We go to the Chilterns, we visit a big sort of country park, a really lovely little family-run winery, and we also go to a really unusual location for afternoon tea. Here's the video.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We kindly ask you to keep your seatbelt fastened while the seatbelt sign is on.
Hi there, it's Sister Shauna.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you okay?
Welcome to Stowe. So I've just arrived and already just driving up it looks so beautiful. So I can't wait to explore the place. I think it's about 250 acres, so I don't think I'll be seeing all that today. Just a few places. And I've looked at the map and I've seen a few places I could visit that isn't too far. So let's go off and explore.
Little area there, just where the double doors are. There we've got a little apple display because we are sort of, we have lots of apples here.
Oh, wonderful.
So it's just a display, not for eating.
Thank you very much. So we've just come in to something called the New Inn, and apparently we got talking to someone who works here. Apparently this was actually built for visitors of the garden back then, and yeah, it looks amazing. I'm just going to show you. Usually you can go inside, but with COVID and everything it's not open yet, but I thought that we'd have a peek in the windows just to show you. So I was just walking along this beautiful leafy path and I spotted something at the corner of my eye that I'm really excited about that you don't get to see in Edinburgh very often. So I've just left behind New Inn and I followed the trail which led me through beautiful wooded path with lovely trees, and because it's autumn all the trees are turning, which is beautiful. And then we also saw some horses on the way, and now I've seen a sign that leads to Stowe House, which I don't think is open at the moment, but would still love to see it up close because I passed it when I came in on the taxi. But yeah, I can see a little bit of it now and I'm so excited. This is lovely. I'm not sure what this is called, but I'll look it up in the brochure. But it has a beautiful view of the house, which you can see just through the trees. So I've just come into, I think this is called Western Pavilion, and I think there's another one just along there called Eastern Pavilion, and they have the most stunning view of Stowe House in front of me. I'll show you in a minute. And also it has the most fabulous ceiling. It's all decorated and just wouldn't have expected it from the outside. Well, it is a stunning building from the outside as well. But yeah, I'm just going to wait here for a little while. It is raining a little bit and then we're going to head off in that direction and see what we can see. Found something else, and I think this is called Pebble Alcove. but it's so pretty, such an unexpected find along the trail. So glad that I've stumbled across Pebble Alcove. I've been spending just a few minutes here looking at all the detail, and it's so intricate and beautiful. I think that might be a mermaid, which is really fun. Thing on our trail that I've seen is the Friendship Temple, and I don't really know too much about this, but it's very impressive. Leaving the Temple of Friendship behind, but I was curious about the names. I looked up online, and apparently it was built for Lord Cobham and his friends. So yeah, back in those days I guess they used to just hang out here, enjoy the views. This is going to be the last thing I'll have time to see at Stowe today, sadly, and it's the Palladian Bridge, and I think you should get a view from the Palladian Bridge onto the Gothic Temple, which apparently you can stay in. I looked online and it looks amazing, but yeah, I'm going to look at the Palladian Bridge and then just slowly head back to the main entrance. You can just see in the distance there's the Gothic Temple, and that's a place that you can stay overnight, and it looks amazing. I can imagine the views you'd have from there, and it looks so interesting as well. So I think that's all I have time to see today, although we might see some things along the way on the walk back, but I do have a taxi going to be waiting to pick me up to go to the next spot, so I don't want to be late for that. But yeah, it's been an incredible visit. I would definitely love to come back again. Walking back, I thought that I would just have a look at the brochure and read to you some of Stowe's history, because I don't know a whole lot about the place, just a little bit that one of the volunteers told me at the beginning. So the National Trust apparently took it over in 1989, and at that time the gardens were in decay, which you just can't imagine looking at them now. So it also has a family history of ambition and rapaciousness had led to bankruptcy, sale, and in the second decade of the 20th century the house was transformed from a home to a boarding school. Yeah, that's interesting. Hello everyone, so I'm here with Stephanie and we're in the Chafer wine estate, and I'm just going to pass over to Stephanie because she's going to tell us a little bit more about Chafer wine.
My name is Stephanie Chafer. I'm stood here in the Chafer Wine Estate vineyard in Buckinghamshire. We're a small family business run by my husband and myself. As you can see, we've got 5,000 vines planted here. We are at the end of the season. It's October, so clearly it would be nicer if I was stood here in the sunshine. pictures that you're seeing right now are the pictures that we took when we actually planted our vineyard by hand. So we're probably one of the very few vineyards in this country where every single vine has been planted by hand. Obviously that was in 2009, so they're quite old photographs, but it does really show how much love and attention went into every vine being planted.
So that's me back inside, and as you can see behind me there's the fermentation tanks, and I'm just about to try some of the Chafer wine, which is really exciting after being to the vineyard and then also being down to the cellar looking at the aging bottles. So I'm trying some of this. Oh, it's really, really good. Bye Tim and Stephanie, thank you so much. I had such a great time.
Thank you.
Have a good day guys, bye. So I've just finished up at Chafer Wine and I had such a lovely time. I didn't really know what to expect. Personally, I'm not a huge drinker, so I didn't know what to expect, but it was such a lovely few hours just chatting to the owners and hearing about their sort of new venture. This is fairly new, I think it's just a few years old, and looking at the vineyards and also the cellar and trying the wine. It's just been such a nice, relaxing experience. And yeah, it's definitely not something that I would have put on my own itinerary, but I'm so glad and thankful to whoever put this itinerary together because I've had a brilliant few hours. So we're in the taxi and we're heading to High Wycombe now, and we're going to the Air Raid Shelter Cafe, which should be really fun for some afternoon tea. So I've just arrived in High Wycombe and it's nice and fair. The sun was even out a few minutes ago. And it's just about 20 to 4 and I have afternoon tea booked in at the Air Raid Shelter Cafe at 4, so it just gives me a little bit of time just to wander about and have a look at the place, and then I will go and look for the cafe. Had a little explore and it's 5 to 4 now, and the perfect time to go and hunt out the Air Raid Shelter Cafe and have some afternoon tea. So here I am in the Air Raid Shelter Cafe, and I'm actually in their mock Air Raid Shelter as well, which is really fun. Just looking about, there are like teddies, old books, an old like tin hat from the war. It's just so many quirky things. Even just looking outside as well, there's someone having afternoon tea in an old car. So much memorabilia. There's just so many things to see. If you haven't heard of the air raid shelter like me previously, it's this really amazing, very creative cafe which is sort of set in the 1940s. So there's old music playing, there's so much memorabilia that people have donated, so it has like a nice personal touch. Just lots of things that hark back to that period. And we were talking to one of the guys that works here, and he was saying that this is not about glorifying war, it's definitely about sort of celebrating the community spirit that was going on during a really sort of tough and hard period of history. I just think it's a brilliant cafe, such a great idea. I read as well that sort of grandparents bring grandchildren here to show them what it was like in their day. So yeah, brilliant place. So I've just had a chat with someone who works here, and he told me that this is actually a replica size of a real air raid shelter, and that this shelter size would fit 6 people, which would be quite a squeeze. And also it would be buried partially underground for extra shelter, and just to keep morale up, people used to have like competitions in the neighbourhood, like whose was the best decorated, which is really fun. And yeah, it's just such a quirky experience to be having afternoon tea in here. Just this amazing mural just outside the cafe, and Chris is going to tell me a little bit more about it.
Hi there. Yeah, basically the cafe is in a shopping centre where not all the shops are open, so we didn't want the customers looking onto a boarded shop. So luckily Stuart came along, one of our customers from TTSP Creations, and painted this amazing mural.
It's so stunning. All the details.
Oh, it's just fantastic. So that's actually a place, I think it's Seven Sisters.
Yes, I think, yeah.
I think that's Beachy Head up there.
Oh, amazing. And this is, we were just talking to Stuart earlier, and he was saying this is a real plane that did crash there, so it's very authentic.
It did crash, and we added the phone box so people can kind of selfies there and something actual size.
Yeah, and it looks brilliant from inside the cafe. It's very like eye-catching.
Yeah, so it's great. So when you're in the cafe now, you're looking out over the coast.
Yeah, beautiful. I'm just finishing up. I've had a lovely afternoon tea, such a relaxing time in such a quirky surrounding. It's really been fun to step back in time for an hour or so and just soak up the surroundings. It's like having afternoon tea in a museum in the best way. So that was the video, my little travel experience to the Chilterns. It was just a 1.5 day thing, I'm sure. I think we flew down, let's say the Friday around 5 p.m. and then the next morning we did the whole thing, and then I think it was the next morning that we flew. Yeah, so it wasn't very long at all that we had in that area. But it was really fun and something really, I don't know, pushed me out of my comfort zone to do filming for a job, also during that time. But yeah, it was a wonderful experience, and I hope that you enjoyed that little vlog, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye!